What is up, everybody? It's your boy. It's the Don. It's the Godfather. It's the future Hall of Famer, JD Legend. Here, bringing you guys and girls the first rendition of the Hunters Association podcast, episode 1. And with me, I've got a couple of guys who are also hip to the game. So, you guys, you're gonna have to decide who introduces yourself first because we're definitely doing this off script. So, whoever's man enough to start, go ahead and start.
All right, what up? It's your boy Big Knox. I'm with the Project Manga Podcast, and what we do is we're a weekly shonen-centric manga podcast that covers 7 of the hottest titles coming out of Shonen Jump for review and analysis. And then we also have a second show where we pick a random, general anime or manga discussion topic and hash it out for about an hour to an hour and a half. So that's what we're doing over there on Project Manga. It's a pretty easy search. So thanks for having me, man.
Anytime.
Hey guys, I'm Seraph. I'm a part of the Project Webtoon podcast. Over there, we do bi-weekly podcasts of the most current chapters of like Unordinary, Solo Leveling, etc., etc. You guys can catch. It's good to see y'all, meet y'all. So tired.
You good, bro? It's all right. Power through.
All right, what up, y'all? This is JD from the TiC GamesNetwork, where we cover gaming, all gaming news, and we're doing the anime portion on there where I'm covering all of that. So make sure to check us out on there, TiC GamesNetwork. Also, check out our website, TiCGamesNetwork.com.
Got a website. I guess I'm going next. What's up, guys? JC2K here. I don't have a podcast or a network, but you can find me at JC2K2002, where I just cover random things, whichever I'm interested in, whichever like winter, summer, whichever anime come out, and I'm interested in it, then I'll do it. Then I react to it. So that's what I do. It's nice to be here, meeting everybody.
Yeah, what up? You already know who it is, man. Trent Money. We just do random shit, webtoons, anime, manga, vlogs, lifting shit. That's about it.
And last but not least, the big homie himself.
Yo! What's good with y'all niggas, dog?
What's up?
I heard y'all niggas like Solo.
Yeah,
It's
something
all right.
Solo.
I heard of it.
I guess.
Shit, we in that bitch
I
today.
mean, it's kind of cool. Got some cool colors, you know what I'm saying?
Should we know about that before? Like,
Nani?
He's gonna wing it, bro.
Nanda Twa?
But yeah, this is Grimm. He didn't really say his name. He kind of yelled like an African American would, but you know what I'm saying? He didn't really say nothing.
I feel like
This is
Brother.
Grim Reaper.
Like the video. Here we go. Good shit.
I really want to mention something about that Boys Hat podcast because Nia was flaming you about it earlier, but you know what I'm saying? Let you live.
What that nigga Naya say, bro?
It's 7 deadly sins. Don't worry about that. We can't go. We don't gotta go there. Yeah, he said ew. Yeah, you ain't gotta go there. But yeah, to start off, this is definitely just a podcast where it's a bunch of people that really enjoy solo leveling, and we kind of just want to get into it and just talk about this series itself. We talk about Jeju Island. We talk about Sun Jin Woo. Talk about the series itself, the impact that it's having on the community now, and the fact that it's blowing up at a proportion that I don't think we've seen in Webtoon or Manhwa, in the history of Webtoon or Manhwa in general. It seems pretty mainstream already. So the question I wanted to ask you guys is, how did you come across solo leveling? Let's start off with that.
Naya was
I was like, who?
Naya. He's got he's a part of the community. He does a lot of webtoons as well. Pretty much all the manhwa he got on, he was basically he recommended them.
Okay.
Naya ugly though.
So we just disrespectful. See, we all. For those who don't know who Naya is, Naya D. Hemming, someone that me, Trent, and Grimm know pretty well, and he is a webtoons enthusiast. So if you talk about webtoons with him, he's the one who's putting us on the game for hardcore leveling warrior right now. He is like all over that. So he's a webtoon YouTuber. So I'm pretty sure you'll cross paths as we continue the journey. But since I'm just gonna pick an order. JC,
All
How
right.
did you come across solo leveling?
So I came across Solo Leveling. I was doing the most popular, manga that were out, on YouTube. I was reacting to them, barely getting any views, barely getting any anything. And someone said, "Hey, this random guy came in my chat and said, hey, this is cool and all, but go to Solo Leveling, read it. You'll like it." And then start reacting to that. So I was like, all right, I'm not getting any traction anywhere else. So I started doing Solo Leveling. And at first, I wasn't getting any traction at all. And then next thing you know, the views started coming in. The subscribers started coming in. I was like, this is fire. And I just loved it. I mean, I ain't really felt nothing like that since I was a kid and watching Dragon Ball. And I was like, okay, let's just keep going with this. And next thing you know, here I am with the support group because the chapter didn't come out. And I put it on Twitter. I was like, I'm about to die out here. The chapter's not coming out. And the next thing you know, podcast.
Hey, we here for it.
Big facts. All right, Seraph.
I was actually just reading some random manga online, and I was just scrolling through, finished the chapter, and then I looked down to see what's recommended, and I just found it. It was like Solo Leveling. I looked at the cover photo, and it looked really cool, so I just kind of like clicked on it and went from there.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah, literally.
All right. So we got Grimm, JD, and Knox left. So it's up to y'all three.
I guess
I was about to start the jonking, bro. I thought we were about to.
I like that one.
All right, so for me, I found out about Solo Leveling because I don't know if y'all know about the Tower of God and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So when that was announced for anime,
Tower trash.
Stop it! Don't do that, bro.
Disrespectful.
Get out of here with that.
Hey, stop. But
I'm not gonna have to grab the Buster Sword.
But yeah, so and I was hyping up God of High School at that time, and stuff like that. I was like, what about that God of High School and stuff like that? So then
Kinda trash.
I just saw people, dropping Solo Leveling and Solo Leveling. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and check it out. And the rest is history.
Fair enough. All right, Grimm, since you seem so eager, go ahead, bro. What you got to say?
You gonna scream this time? Hold on.
No, I'm just saying, like, I support my niggas, out there reading trash, Somebody got to read it. No. But, like, shout out to them stories, like, niggas were talking about earlier, like, Naya. Naya's a huge advocate of Tower of God. But, like, personally, for me, a bunch of people were bugging me in Brago's Discord and in my Discord to read Solo Leveling. This new, like, Webtoon Korea manhwa that, like, I had barely been exposed to manhwa in the first place. The only thing I'd read before was Feng Shinji. A super badass story, real nice, but it was hard to follow because of like the serialization. Like a lot of sites didn't have it.
That's the Chinese comic that's like in color, right?
Yeah,
I think is it Chinese? It's not Korean.
It is Chinese.
Feng Shinji is Chinese, yeah.
Oh, bet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
that
not
shit
even a
is ass,
manga,
though.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
like,
a manhua.
Exactly, yeah. So like shit that's not like manga itself, I wasn't really exposed to. So like it was a little bit hard to get over that barrier. But once I saw that badass art, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker for art. And Solo got it.
Definitely sold it.
Got the vibrant, vivid colors.
And the incredible character designs.
And the line work is out of hand.
Out here wilding. So Knox, what about you, bro?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I like am constantly just like always searching for things to read, and like I found Solo Leveling a while ago, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, actually, where he had just I think the newest chapter was like inside of that dungeon with the B class assassin that he got the stealth from was where it was at when I had read it up to current at that point in time. But I'm constantly just like searching all over, all over the manga sites that I use in the filters and shit, shonen, fantasy, Webtoon, what I'm saying, martial arts, whatever the filters were, just trying to find a new story. And I found Solo Leveling and I started like looking at it and it kind of like reminded me of the gamer. So like it just gave me like gamer vibes. So I was like, I don't know, I'm probably just cool with this gamer. And I like didn't really give it the chance that it deserved, and then I eventually came back once like I was current on like God of High School and like Tower of God and everything like that. And I was like, all right, well, I remember this Solo Leveling shit. And I went back there and then caught back up to it. I was like, this is one of the tightest webtoons I ever read. I ain't never wanted to be a motherfucker more than I want to be Sung Jin Woo, fam. In anything that I've ever read, dog. In anything that I've ever read, dog. I want, like, I read a lot of comic books. I read a lot of manga. I want that motherfucker shit. You know what I'm saying?
Spider-Man, for real, a little bit.
Yeah.
On a serious note, like, to get like kind of like a little bit deep with the shits, like, if you really think about it, the leveling system that's in solo leveling, like this power that like Sung's gotten, it's really like, it's really what everybody wants. Like, it's the most desirable thing.
It's the most like the video games, you know, like that we play, right? They're like the terminology that it uses, and like they're talking about aggro, and they're talking about
I don't even mean it like that. I mean as in, like, it's basically guiding him through life. Like, it's not only
it's showing him what he should do, and then
that's what we
get punished if you don't do it.
It's like a literal god. It's a literal god.
The system
kind of. I find that's a super badass at like how he's exploring it. I'm wondering like how deep they actually go into, because it's a light novel, like an actual novel series, or something like that. But that's super interesting to me, that like he basically has a god that he can access at any time, and it's going to help him through life to improve to the maximum that he can. It's going to do that. Like, that's badass as fuck. We don't have a guide. Like, you don't have a guide. You grow up, you become 18 or whatever, you leave high school, you don't really like, you find out that like nobody's really in charge, nobody's really at the helm. Like, niggas are really just going out there and like having success and shit. But like Sung has the path, man. Like, that's badass.
It's built for him the second he entered that dungeon.
Yeah, you talking about
the double dungeon when he entered it and he got out? It was just built for him. Like, it was just meant for him and only him.
Right.
That's wild.
Keep looking at your face, looking for spoilers. Like, you gonna say something. I keep looking. He's gonna react to something. Like, he gonna react to something.
He's holding back hard. I can see it.
So since we're on the topic of the double dungeon, because I think it'd be best to start off with basically the beginning, and I think the main focus of the story is Sung Jin Woo. We know that for a fact, but just how he's changed, how he's developed as a character and gone from, you know, the measly world's weakest hunter. Everybody thought, okay, he walks in, he's going to get injured immediately. And now we see this guy where every room he steps into, his energy is, who's going to check me? Like, that's his energy. Like, nobody here is going to check. Yeah, literally, just like even in Jeju Island right now, we see the Ant King, and I know his name. I'm not going to say it for those who have.
We call him Merowyn.
Yeah, we call him Merowyn. For those who are cultured and watch Hunter x Hunter, we call him Merowyn. It is what it is, bro.
That's literally what it is.
It's basically the Command Anarch, but we see how the Ant King is basically just eviscerated the S rank. Like, I'm talking like they didn't even get the hit in.
I was hurt when they did it too. I was hurt.
I was devastated.
The way that they introduced him was just so crazy, because like there wasn't, like, going through the story, like, you don't really have stakes like that. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, you just follow Sung Jin Woo in his overpowered, you know, escalation into this god that he becomes, but like you don't really feel the stakes until heads start getting chopped off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what you really realize.
Yeah, for these characters that are being hyped up as these guild masters and these, you know, and these big body motherfuckers that you like couldn't wait to finally see, you know, and then you get like all of this information from them like right away when they're all in the same room doing their training exercises before they go to Jeju, and you're like, okay, they're about to do something, and then they just get evaporated. Like,
they just get decimated, like, within 3 seconds of standing in his presence.
And like you think about it, you're like, what if they just get one-shotted? You know what I mean? But you're like, but that's not. Like you're thinking
like a couple of them got one-shotted.
You're like, yo, yeah. But then you're like, it's not gonna happen like that though, right? These guys are cold. These guys are tight. And then
they just hit you with that 180, and everybody just gets decimated.
I was like, very happy to see it, but sad at the same time.
It was. Honestly, for me, it hurt me just because I had so much faith in these niggas. It's like, for me, I am a Hunter Cha stan, Choi Jong-in. That's my homie.
That's called baby girl.
You know what I mean? That's waifu.
That's why, exactly, bro. The second I saw her that panel,
yeah, I was like, oh, that's bae. It's her, and then I think her name's like Lee Byung-hoo. you know what I'm talking about, the orange hair girl, B rank.
The healer.
Yeah,
the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
Those two, I'm just like, yo, Sung Jin Woo got to be with one of them. I don't care who else, but it's got to be one of them too, right? When I saw what Merwin did to her, I said, "Oh no,
Hit
this is
the-
not good."
Literally, when I saw that, I was like,
back fist on her. She said,
With the he used the front of the palm. He said, "Boy, if you don't get out my way," I was like,
Yeah.
"Yo,
I was already hurt when
smack
she
your
started,
ass,
got ready to
bitch.
throw up.
don't
When
hurt
she
her like
ready to
that,
throw
dog.
up.
Be gentle.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, no.
I was like,
I
no,
can't
the S
have
rank."
it.
Not like this.
Yeah, I was like, "Yo, the S rank. It can't be being treated like this, no." And then Madu, we come in like we love Madu because he's the husky, cool, got the fro and everything. My man ripped his arm off like a GI Joe action
Yes,
figure.
and then he broke through his freaking shield like it was
He
nothing.
said, tat.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. When he broke his arms off, I was hoping he slapped him. I wanted to see. I didn't want to slap him.
I was ready to see another Hunter x Hunter parallel where he just impales him with his own arm through the freaking stomach, like
man.
Gon did with Pito a little bit.
Nigga, if he would have slapped him with him, bro, I would have lost my shit.
Oh yeah,
and that would have been
I
too much
lost
for
it
me, bro.
anyways. So
Yeah.
pretty much.
I was saying,
Stopped reading right there. I would have been done. I would
But
have been
really,
like, nope,
it
this
kind of
is-
threw me off because of the power scaling. I was using the S ranks as power scaling for Jin Woo.
Yeah.
But when they got destroyed like that, I was just like, well, where's Jin Woo? My whole chat is screaming nation level right now. And I'm sitting here like, no, they're screaming nation level for Jin Woo.
That's crazy because my whole chat was trying to tell me like he wasn't nation level yet.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, it's like what level?
nation level.
Like what does that even mean to him? It's like when he like steps in, and meets these characters that we think are stronger than him. It turns out they're not. You know what I mean? I think the last time a character was stronger than him was when he came out of the Red Gate. You know what I mean? So
that C rank that turned to A rank.
yeah. So like at that point, like after that, it's just like these characters that are being introduced that are like, okay, these are the strongest characters in the show, but like you flash back over to Sung Jin Woo and he's doing shit tighter than them, and you can just feel that without a confirmation that he's already the best character in the show. You know what I mean? Like we'll see what's up with his dad and we'll see what's cracking with this American blonde dude, but
Yeah, exactly. I keep bringing up the American blonde dude because like he doesn't just show up out of nowhere and then leave with nothing going on with him,
For story progression, you just can't have a nation level hunter show up and Jin Woo already be stronger than him.
It feels like that's what's going to happen, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't
So,
do it.
so Jay,
I feel like they're gonna be duking it out at one point.
You think so?
It's gotta happen.
That's gonna happen?
That's gotta happen. It can't not happen.
What I feel like I really need to happen is like right now, like in the current chapter, he's giving Merwin the hands, right? And like I was really hoping that it wouldn't be like that. Like obviously it's epic to see them duke it out on like equal footing, but like it would just be so great if this was like a fight that like Sung Jin Woo couldn't deal with right now. Right. You know what I mean? Like I would love a retreat, reset, regroup, come back later kind of situation. But like if he beats Merwin here, like by the end of this first confrontation that they have, or however long the fight is drawn out, like I feel like that would be really awkward for the series because like this is a perfect opportunity for him to lose once after reaching this level that he's at. You know what I mean? It would be really humbling for his character.
I think it's an interesting like opportunity to like look deeper into like because all right, so the main thing that I cover on my channel is One Punch Man, and one of the big tropes about One Punch Man is that the author doesn't necessarily like follow tropes, or he may even like utilize tropes in an opposing manner, or he'll make nuances on them, but he's really creative in his writing. So there are times where you'll have a built-up individual, a huge villain, very, very powerful, and the encounter that defeats him is 2 pages worth of like whatever, because he's the main character, whatever the circumstance may be. So it's a lot of times it's a disappointing cliffhanger, and like I've had to like learn after reading it like for a long time period to deal with that, to see like the upside of that, like that type of strategy. Yeah, and I think we should take that perspective or like that angle on the same thing as well, because for example, I've heard the complaints that like in isekai type stories that the power ceiling issue can become a problem like very, very quickly. And it could be really easy to say that like Solo Leveling is experiencing that, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but we really didn't see any S class like until like Juju Island, until the training for Juju Island. And the S class had been present since like the Red Gate appeared. So I don't think it was on purpose or that he's rushing the story that we didn't see that. I think that was like there was a reason that we didn't get those S class. Like those S class are probably gonna be subordinates of some. I don't know if you noticed, like Bike, the Beast guy, and Choi Jin, the Fire guy, and then maybe the female, forgot her name, Choi-in.
Cha.
Cha. Yeah.
Baby girl, yeah.
Baby girl, that's her name now. Baby girl.
Yeah. So like with all three of them there, like we could tell from the beginning that we were gonna be rivals of Sung, or like maybe even like components of the same team, as if like they're working together as a nation, quote unquote, the Juju Island raid that didn't turn out to be that way. So like the only other place they could be right now is subordinates. Like right now, the prospect that me and Jay was talking about the other day is that like it may be that the defense of Korea going on forward is a nation level capability that Sung gets to, whether he's there now or not. That may be it, and then that would fill in the subordinates, the leader for the Reaper Squad that we haven't seen yet, still Bike, the Fire Soldier Choi Jin, Baby Girl. All these niggas could fit into like not necessarily a guild of Sungs, but under the national jurisdiction of Sung Jin Woo. We were also debating that like the current chairman of the Hunters thing, like the him.
Oh, I can't wait.
Exactly. Yeah.
Big Garp status.
Go Gun He, he really does the Garp vibes. I didn't even think about that. He really does.
That's Garp, baby.
Trying to bring it all back together to the point where like we don't know whether like there's gonna be a power ceiling issue, because we were bringing up. So like this guy Choi Jin, the guy you guys just mentioned, he's what we ideally think should be nation level. Like he is the number one nigga in defense of Korea. It's him. When it comes to protecting this nation, it's him who they go to first, and then he delegates or gets things done. So you would assume that in his prime time, as they're all hyping up, even when Sung walked up to this old ass nigga, he was like, "Damn, this nigga can type the ass. I don't know about this shit, bro. Like,
this dude check him."
Sung was like, "Let me put my pants up and shit." So like, with that being the case, like nowadays, imagine this nigga in his prime. Imagine Sung, quote unquote, the monarch in his prime that we're gonna get to eventually. We don't know like what nation level truly means, and I think it's important to stand that like we can't say he's nation level yet. We don't know what nation level really stands for. We're getting into a situation where like a nigga came from America and was cocky as fuck, but like
super cocky.
I don't want to say that.
I don't know where the energy.
You got the bread. I'll come out there.
If there's big dick energy, that's that big dick energy right there.
I can't sense that. I gotta sense that. No, but like, so just to put it in perspective, like from my viewpoint, that I don't necessarily think that the gap that we've been having in like jumps or like in seeing people's power levels is a completely negative point. It's hard because we can't scale them, but it's probably because they have a different role in the story that isn't necessarily like, oh, these guys are going to represent this ranking and we have to know them well. We could figure out that ranking in a personal stance. I personally, bro, when I seen these niggas training before to get to Juju Island, I was like, this is trash. Like half the niggas was doing like simple ass shit. It wasn't really even like room shaking shit. The only
well, they said that the room was specially made to like withstand what they were doing,
but they were
even so they were still breaking the room. So I mean, like imagine if it wasn't reinforced that way.
I did on the island. Shit happened.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're basically comparing him to Jin Woo, what you've seen him do. You can't compare them because I mean he has. The whole system behind him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a variety of comparisons. I agree. Sanjay will be the main character, the person who we see everybody up against will definitely skew my viewpoint. Relax, bro. But like, but we've also seen like different types of monsters. I remember the ice bears that we actually grabbed one of them. Baruka. We've seen all kinds of. Yeah, we've seen all different kinds of niggas using different kinds of skills and different type of manners. I can say that like I feel comfortable saying that like some of the bosses we've encountered would body half of the S class we've seen. Like I feel like I say that. Yeah. Sure,
like even
even
Baron.
No, Baron.
King Baron, bro.
Everybody.
Yeah. He would throw hands on everybody.
Baron don't count.
He would put them hands on everybody.
How does Baron not count? Why does Baron?
He was a special gate like only Jin Woo can get to.
Yeah, but like just saying
because of the system, though. Because of the system, he got there.
We still gotta rank them. Like they still exist. We gotta put them in there.
He still kind of whooped him with like no effort.
No, he
had to push himself to the limit.
He didn't get a clean hit in.
You're talking about the end of the Demon Castle, right?
Yeah, he didn't hit him once in the whole
King
entire
Baron got Kaiser.
Sun got dropped. Yeah.
I mean, he hit him once towards the ground, but he didn't hit him at all.
That wasn't really a fight to me. That was like an experiment. You know what I mean? That he'd like figured out. You know, by the end, it didn't really seem like it was that.
Yeah, Jin wouldn't get it was not one clean hit. Jin would take not one clean hit in the whole
time. Yeah, he was more than ready for that. He was kind of his ass. Like he was like, okay,
he was prepared for it. He wasn't ready.
He figured it out like real quick.
I
don't remember shit that he was doing, and he was like, oh, okay, all right. I haven't seen nothing like this before, but then had an answer for it like right.
I remember when Kargalen had to save his ass from the Wyvern or from Burns' attack. Like the Kargalen had to come out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, she threw something at him like real quick.
He almost died at that point.
He almost died.
You almost got
the other wife almost died. I was kind of upset, dog. All right.
Yeah, you're right.
It was the other wife, right?
Yeah, the demon.
Yeah, the demon.
The demon program, the NPC.
I don't give a fuck.
But no, yeah, to bring it back at center, like, yeah, we definitely haven't seen all of the S class, but like, we definitely haven't even like looked at the nation level. So it's fair to say that like we don't know what the fuck Sung is doing, especially with the disparity between like S and like S and X, whatever it is. Like, yeah, like we just know that this nigga can clap most of these niggas. The I think Jay's favorite guy, the Ryo dude from Japan.
Yeah,
Goto Ryoji.
Goto Ryo. Listen, he's not my favorite.
Wait, you mean the False King? That dude?
Yeah, him. He's like kind of like the best pillar we have right now to like, I guess, scope the bridge, or throw a little rope across the bridge and shit.
When they were training, because he was like the strongest one when they were all training. And
yeah, exactly.
Like he like threw no effort when he was fighting all the other hunters.
Yeah, and he actually mentioned that like he himself believes that he's right level title, or at least like in reading the dialogue from what I remember, it gave me like the feel that like this nigga's phony, but like he's gonna try to use some like scheming methods to get ahead. Some like, you know, group shit, or like I'm gonna like suck the boss off, or like I'm gonna blackmail somebody.
Just the extra little cheat levels, dog.
Exactly.
Just the extra little bit of cheating to get him up there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You can't blame him, but you know, like yeah.
And he ended up being kind of on that. He whole time twice the S class to go back to Japan and do whatever he was talking about with Buddy on the phone before he got.
Japan was on that, dog. It was they were all in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just hope that, like, because it's like, okay, so if Sung Jin Woo isn't nation level right now, and then he beats the Ant King here, what's like we can probably just assume that he'd be nation level at that point, right?
I can't assume it because I haven't seen nation level's power yet.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you feel like this is the kind of threat that like nation level hunters would have to deal with in, you know, with Meruem, right?
I mean, maybe bottom tier nation level, like just
okay.
I can't give it to him.
I mean,
so obviously there's going to be more threat after the Ant King. This is just the biggest threat that we're seeing right now that they're hyping up the most. So this might not necessarily be a nation level threat. Okay.
It's just that one.
But I mean, like if
they came
all
out
of
of
the S
nowhere
classes can't do anything, then that sounds kind of
yeah.
nation level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
that one chapter where they dropped that where they actually told us that like the S class's disparity is huge, where like they couldn't even measure. It told us when he got the test they couldn't measure S class when that was so pivotal to letting us know that like how wide of a range that is. That like I don't want to say that it's likely for that to happen again for nation level, but think about it like this. At a certain point, you have to introduce the strongest possible in the series. And it can't be some Kaguya shit where like you wait till like, literally the last two chapters be like, oh no, she really the strong. No, it's not gonna be like that. It's bad writing. So like either Sung's gonna be the strongest nigga in the series and is the monarch or the trouble that his father's talking about, or we're gonna see somebody who's the strongest already and Sung will get past them. So I really feel that like we'll see somebody.
I mean, given, you know, how stories normally go with the MCs, he's going to be the strongest one way or another, especially just given, you know, how the system is leveling him up.
Yeah, so, I was just going to bring up the system and how it's leveling up because he's like the only hunter who can actually progress more so than other hunters. Right? Yeah. Most hunters, they can't advance a rank like he can, you know. Yeah. They can't do that.
Yeah, unless they get a second awakening, but then that's it after that.
Unless they get a reawakening, but that's like what, 1 in 1,000 chance type deal, you know?
Yeah, so like not everybody's gonna get that. And I mean, like honestly, like I feel like the whole point of like the story that's being told right now is that Sung Jin Woo is always going to be the strongest once it comes to that point. Once it comes to a point where it's like, is Sung Jin-woo stronger than this guy or not? It turns out he is. You know, like because of whatever experience that he just had right before meeting that person, put him over that, the edge like that and up to that level or beyond it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying that I wish that there was a little bit more stakes in regard to Sung Jin-woo's development, and that he loses here on Jeju Island, so that it can kind of ground the series a little bit more, so that it's not just like a.
So you think it's a
no matter. Kind of, yeah. I just wish that there were more characters that mattered. You know what I mean? Like, I love the series. I'm here for it. If you want the strongest motherfucker at all times, I'm gonna still read the shit. But I just feel like from a storytelling standpoint, stakes is always a good thing, and tension is always a good thing. If I'm not worried about anything, then it kind of becomes. And Sung Jin-woo's not even a static character. We see his development throughout, and he's constantly changing. But it's in a way that makes me never worried about anything that happens. And then the Ant King comes and massacres all of the S ranks. And I'm like, okay, here's that tension. And then now he's boxing with the Ant King on even footing. So it's like, shit, okay, it feels like it could be a miss, but then the Ant King could activate to a new level, you know, beyond what he's been introduced as, and completely wax Sung Jin-woo, and that would be amazing, I feel like.
Let me ask you this. How long ago did you do your full read through?
What, 3 months ago, I think, is when I caught back up to the series.
From your memory, what part of the story felt the longest? If you can cut into chunks, what was was it the beginning part when he was at E rank? Was it what's the biggest portion of the story that you remember?
I think it was from when he first started his leveling, when he was fighting all of the wolves, to when he met the B class assassin and got stealth. I felt like that was the longest. I feel like that was the longest stretch of time where I didn't know what was going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you don't think that could be happen again?
I would love for it to, but I feel like the opportunity is right now.
Well, I think from how the story's going right now, he's at an all-time high, right? So right now he's boxing with the Ant King. It's being live streamed on the internet, so everybody sees him.
The streets see it.
It's on national
the
TV.
S-Class got murked.
They watch the S-Class get
hot.
destroyed.
Yeah, the S-Class got murked, so everybody knows Jin-woo. He's going to be popular, and that's when there's going to be a drop-off. I feel like that's when the enemy's going to come in. It's going to be a drop-off because he's all-powerful right now. He's going to be the talk of the town, the talk of the world, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when something's going to happen. I don't
So
think
it kind of means,
What do you mean by
since all
something?
eyes are on him, it kind of means implies that he's gonna win this right now.
This system, there's something more with the system. I don't know what it is, but it's going to come into play. You just
Speaking
not
of
just.
what do y'all think the system is?
To be honest, I just feel like it's just trying to lead him up to something.
I want to know
The way
who
it's
created
playing
the
out,
system.
The way it's playing out, it's gonna lead him up to a big figure.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's just gonna turn him into a really big figure to where point it's just gonna he's gonna end up fighting an enemy that's against the system.
Yeah. What if the final boss is the motherfucker who made the system?
Yeah, exactly. It's leading him up to fight the boss of the system.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What if the double dungeon shows up again? You know, if it does,
Oh yeah, he needs to go back and and clear that.
If he gets it, if he got it one time and it gave him
it might be leading up to go back to that
big
dungeon.
ass statue again.
Yeah.
That's a high theory I got from me.
Once Mom Dukes woke up, I was like, okay, so he's about to go back to the dungeon and couldn't handle that now. It's time to go back and get. He got a bone to pick with, buddy.
He's about to walk back into that dungeon and be like, "Hey, yo, statue, you ready to catch the smoke,
He
dog?
was doing all that smiling last time.
You about to be sad now, boy."
Egress.
Egress run them hands.
Right.
Egress, iron, run this shit, boy.
My fade.
No, but low key that system shit, it probably is some.
Every time I talk.
Oh, sorry. What'd you go ahead, bro?
I'm sorry.
Speak your truth, King.
Y'all talking about me?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk your talk.
I see JC smiling every time I talk. I was trying to tell him he ain't got to worry. I'm just asking questions. You ain't got to worry. I got it.
But yeah, no. From that system, I really feel like it's just going to lead to something really big, to where it's just going to give him a quest to defeat this really big item, this big person, whatever it's going to be. Multiple people, even. I don't know what it is. It might be even God himself. Who knows?
Well, yeah, because if it's a game
Actually,
of some sort,
JD might know.
it's good. The villain's coming. It's setting up for something. I don't know what it is, but it's setting up for something. That's why it's getting stronger. That's why.
That's why it's giving him all these ridiculous and weird quests. Like, what is the reason for him to enter this demon castle?
Yeah, and you kind of look for like
why is it a
foreshadowing.
demon castle in specific of all things? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, you kind of look for foreshadowing inside of the system too. So it's
like I'm just like it's like something you got to really dive deep into, like looking at all the chat messages and like, you know how when he went through that class change quest, his stats, his strength and speed were just ridiculous. He could have been an assassin, but then it threw a whole curveball and made him made him a necromancer. I was like, wait, and then he got an advancement to Shadow Monarch, and it's like, so what is the Shadow Monarch?
Yeah,
is there supposed to be more to this or no? Like, you can't just throw this at him and then have nothing else added.
But he's an assassin too. At the same time, I thought that it would be pretty cool if it like took some stats away from his assassination.
Yeah, no,
prowess to make him a necromancer.
That would be very well balanced.
I would have. I thought that's the kind of the direction that it was going in. But he's like, oh no, you're still every bit an assassin that you were before you became a necromancer, and now you just get extra motherfuckers. I was like, all right, well, hey,
he's a little berserker assassin, and like every D&D class you could fucking think of.
Yeah, he's just.
Can we like so far actually put together like the pieces of that like that final puzzle? Because I know we got like the leveling thing or like the hunters thing came out of nowhere, right? Like
where did these dungeons come from?
Yeah.
Who made these?
That's the first thing.
If there's a Shadow Monarch, there's gotta be other ones, right? Is that like a real question here? Like,
well, in regards to who made the dungeons, I thought it was like an extra dimensional rift that like opened up and like dumped this energy into the world that they occupy.
Yeah, it dumped into the world so everybody could become hunters or just
all over the world.
Yeah,
I think it's safe. I think it's safe to assume that we know Sun Jin-woo's dad for certain is aware of the system. He hasn't really said anything about it.
Yeah,
but he seems to be very, very privy to what's going on, and
I like that.
We don't even know where he came out.
But it sucks because like he just showed up out of nowhere.
I like that.
That's what I'm thinking.
You got to support them on that.
Yeah, no, like
I like that.
Jin-woo's dad just showed up, and he knew what the bigger picture was.
Right.
Yeah.
He knew what's coming.
Yeah.
But he ain't saying nothing about the system though. You got to elaborate.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
I'm just saying
it just seems like there's not. No. I'm rolling with that because it like his dad like seems like he's like the motherfucker that like knows a little bit more than like sure, you know, the Ant King is a thing, but like he also seems like a character that like isn't going to be surprised by any information that he gets once the conversation is had. He kind of like has that like that air about him that like he just kind of like knows what's going on. So I like that. I don't remember him talking about the system either, but now that he mentions that makes sense to me.
I mean, you do have to think about it. He was trapped in a dungeon for like
right.
Yeah, but what's the theory of the dungeon popping up again? Because like it closed off because they all killed the boss and he got everybody out of there. But what's the theory of it actually just popping up again of the same exact dungeon that he's trapped in for like 10 years?
Well, maybe they just respawn over time.
Either way, the fact that like there was a dungeon that he was able to traverse through, like he went in Korea and then he came out in the United States. Like that's an anomaly that like you can't ignore that. Like
that shouldn't have happened, really.
Yeah, none of the other gates are transportation like capable.
Yeah,
and then I could agree that he definitely has something to do with like maybe what's going on. That's why people were mentioning that like there must be like a single individual that's responsible for maybe the rift event that happened in the beginning, something like that. But like we can't say that for sure. And we can't say what the fuck caused the rift, but we know that like a world existed beforehand that didn't have all these hunters and shit. So something that like is calculable happened. We just don't know. Like
maybe that's the system again too, and then the system does that, looking for someone who's like worthy of like utilizing it. While it's just like a game. It's just like a motherfucker in a chair, like yori.
Or multiple people in a chair developing this game, dog.
So you guys, I don't mean to interrupt, but the chat has been active, and there's a few questions they do have, so I don't want to ignore them for too long. We also got 2 donations as well from Cameron Etheridge and my boy Lothar. He just said, "Great idea for a podcast. Here's some money. Look forward to listen to this." So shout out to Lothar, shout out to Cameron. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate you guys a lot. And a couple of questions. Cameron asks, "What's the deal with when the system glitches out? When that glitch happened? What do you think the deal was? I think it was with Baruka, right? The elf guy.
It happened with the elf guy first. Yeah.
The demon. The
ice
right?
elf. The ice elf.
Oh, the ice elf.
Ice elf.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the beginning,
Baruka.
Yeah.
I think it also happened with Cargill.
I think
the demon girl,
and with the orc too, because when he was bringing up the Shadow Monarch, it just glitched out like crazy. So what I'm thinking is, like every time Sun Jin-woo enters a dungeon, and one of the creatures can speak, they want to bring up that he is the Shadow Monarch, but they couldn't.
The demon girl had to stop talking.
Demon girl, yeah, that happened with her too.
Yeah, the demon girl too. She was lagging. She was glitching out when she was trying to explain everything going on.
Yeah,
like there was a war going on.
Yeah, inside of her race with the demons versus who again?
It was just like other demons from upper levels or whatever.
Okay.
To be honest, like because like they were on like the first floor or like first or second floor or whatever, and then there's like other demons.
But they were talking about like a unanimous threat, like for all of them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
that's right. I think I remember that. Yeah.
I think the system is just trying to block away from that threat for Jin-woo in particular until he gets strong enough to a certain point where it'll bring it up. Right. It'll bring it up randomly. Like if he hits like at level 100 or 1 or something or whatever like that, you know what I mean? Like a higher level, it'll pop.
No, but that's not what I mean though. Like it's like, bro, this is like it's so fucking like I hate this nigga right here. He knows what the fuck is going on.
Who? Which one?
I'm looking at.
He's talking about JD. Yeah, yo, Trent. Even Trent called him.
Yeah, bro, I do your shit, but like
he's holding back so hard right now.
So like,
that's
you can't say anything.
Oh no!
I don't know.
But like,
he's just gonna laugh at all of our speculation the whole time.
It's so difficult because like the very thing that's like strengthening him, so called or whatever, like preparing.
Oh, I wish I didn't know that.
Whatever it's doing,
preparing him for whatever you know. The system,
whatever it's doing in that regard, it's like. Fuck, how do I put this? Like, it feels like it's a different dimension. Like, there are things going separate. Like, when we go to these dungeons and these gates, whether it's like the system produced it or whether it's a natural gate that pops up, like, there are things that are already going on there. There's already ecosystems there. Like, niggas were, when we went to the ice place where Baruka was, like, there was already a familiar culture or understanding of like those ice bears and shit and like their environments. Like,
that's right.
Why are those things known? It's in a gate. Like, why do you have information on them?
So that can probably be explained by just like other dungeons that popped up that had those races inside of them. You know what I mean? So as time goes by and all of and you get all of this record of all of these dungeons being cleared, you're gonna probably run into the same races over and over again.
But this is weird.
It's too big of an assumption. Like it works perfectly, but it's too big because like now we're assuming that other gates like are they connected? Like, or are they just like? Is it a game that's reprogramming different shit into like, or the same shit into a different like area? Like, are the gates connected? Like, for me to assume that like there have been other places with a recurring environment, I would have to assume they're either connected or that it's producing the same thing.
Well, didn't Jin-woo's dad, when he came out of the dungeon, said he was trapped in the dungeon? Then next thing you know, he walked out and he was in America. So wouldn't that kind of give you the hint or whatever that they are connected in some kind of way?
Yeah.
But what is it? Is it like, I'm asking, is the like the dimension, the shit that's created by the system, is like that a dimension that's connected within itself? Or are you saying that like the system's dimension is connected to like the real world? Like, what do you wait?
I think it's pretty safe to assume that the system is a part of this entire dungeon system too.
Right.
And that it's all a part of that same extra dimensional presence that started this entire storyline.
Right. I would like to think they're all connected. The dungeon, the
why wouldn't they be?
With Sunju will. It's the fact that even in some dungeons, so the dungeon that they went to initially with the ice elves, the fact that Baruka was even familiar with the system, and when he asked him, "Are you a player?" That was a dungeon technically.
Right.
So if you have dungeon bosses asking, "Are you a player?" you have to assume that the system and the dungeons are absolutely connected 100%.
Right.
So a system gate and a dungeon. Good.
Oh, I was gonna say. Also, you gotta look at it that the system is generating these dungeons for Jin-woo. So,
it's crazy because also like the specific races that could speak, like the ice elves, the demons, and then like what else was the orcs? The orcs.
Yeah.
there has to be a higher up for those guys ordering them around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, making them do it.
Yeah, exactly. Making them go through all this bullshit fighting. You know,
It's the system, bro.
I know.
What is that system?
Because the second Jinwoo walked
It's
into
a
that
guy with
dungeon,
a button.
Easy button.
The second Jinwoo walked into that dungeon with all the orcs, all they said was, a voice said in my head, "Kill all the humans."
Yeah.
And that should that just kind of blew my mind.
I think that actually goes like ties into like the glitch, right? Because like whatever that like voice is coming from somewhere commanding them. And multiple races of monsters inside of this dungeon are hearing a similar voice. Right. So that lets us know that it's all linked back to like one or maybe a council of motherfuckers that are feeding this voice to these characters that are outside of our understanding of the system and the dungeon itself. So like you can probably assume that whatever that voice is the final boss, and that the final boss doesn't want Sung Jin-woo to know what's going on yet. Right. So whenever he inquires on it and they're getting a little bit too close to that information, he makes it glitch out because I don't know, there's no theater in him finding it out right now, I guess. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's maybe this 100, maybe, you know, that's information that, you know, because like we've played these video games before, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're not ready for something, then you can't get there yet. You know what I mean? So
I just find it insane that the system lets him translate monster language, but not human language. He could understand Goto Ryoji or any other Japanese guys, but he can understand Elvish, Orcish, and demonic language.
Wait, why couldn't he? Oh, because he needed a translator.
He needed a translator. The system wouldn't translate it for him, like it did with the other guys.
Shit, Seraph.
I had to get into that because like that's like something that just blew my mind.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm going wild with it, but like I just had to bring it up because it was just like a really interesting thing to me. You know what I mean? Because like, how is the system going to translate all these monster languages but won't translate anything within human language?
Yeah, that's tight. It's a good question.
Yeah.
So another question that was asked in the chat from David Biglad. They said, do y'all feel like some of the S rank top people will join the main character guild after what happened with the Black Ant? Well, he's talking about Mero.
And he just had a guild of S ranks only?
I don't think
I highly don't think that's gonna happen,
bro.
I don't think
Jinwoo wants that to happen.
No,
he wants to keep it small.
He wants to keep it small, so
he wants to keep it small simply for the fact so he can go into dungeons himself. And go ham on it.
That has to happen. That's what the nation thing is.
Yeah, but
eventually they're gonna fight.
But then they're nearly all guilds are under the Hunter Association.
Yeah, so I'm saying
So Jinwoo is going to be under the Hunter Association.
Have y'all thought about the party system too that he can do?
Yeah, I have.
I have.
He can level up his. Oh man, he can level up anybody who's party.
So he's just gonna have a guild with S-class hunters that are all with him and share experience, and then we're gonna have nation level hunter guilds.
I just find it crazy that he can level up all of the saddle shoulders, shadow soldiers. Jeez, I couldn't say that word the same way.
Bro, imagine a leveled up ultimate soldier.
Because
like,
think about it. He ran with old boy before. I forgot his name. The D class hunter. He ran with him before and nothing happened.
Well, he wasn't partied up with him.
Maybe you don't even unlock the party. Well, no, because I feel like the system would have said something like you can now have party members.
Right. He was traveling with other people.
He would have other S. He stated before that.
It's weird because it only happened with the demon.
Everything by himself.
It's just weird that it only happened with that demon girl.
Maybe it's because she's an NPC.
Probably, yeah.
No, I think that was when it first came up because he was surprised when he got.
What did you say?
When he was surprised when he had that option, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like, oh shit, I don't want to share my.
That was the first.
I don't want to share my grind with nobody.
What do you mean? This loot is mine.
He's got that problem. Yeah.
And also about the leveling system, I just find it crazy that the shadow soldiers can go through class advancements.
Right.
Like how Iron was gonna go get his class advancement, or Tank, or whoever it was, Egress. What was it?
Almost all of them at this point.
Yeah, all of them. They can all just get stronger as it goes, and I just find that incredibly crazy. That he can have a whole army of like elite knights, you know.
Yeah,
dude. I think it would be super tight if he really did start a guild and just all of these S-class motherfuckers acknowledged him and just like didn't want to be in their guilds anymore, just wanted to be with Sung Jin-woo. And then he because well, I mean, because think about it, because I mean, like if we're talking about threats past the Ant King, you know what I mean? And the Ant King like makes sense as a nation level threat considering how easily he's washing the S-class hunters. Then like whatever threat comes next, you're probably going to want, I mean, it's just going to be Sung Jin-woo versus and the nation level hunters versus that. Like, no, I feel like these S-class hunters are going to need a next level too.
Yeah, you're talking about worldwide, universal threats. Then if everybody's starting to,
that's I mean, why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it go?
I mean, it could get that way.
I mean, this is already an extra dimensional presence anyway. You know what I mean? So like, the universal isn't too far out of the realm of possibility. And I mean, if that's the case, then I mean, like. Because Sung Jin-woo is going to exceed past nation level too. You know what I mean? So it's like, then that means that that's the point of the story. That means that there needs to be a threat that he has to deal with that exceeds nation level in the same way that Meruem is exceeding S-class. So if that's the case, then he's going to need to bring S-class mages or S-class hunters with him. And
it all depends on like the length. I think he glitched.
Yep, he glitched out.
We lost him.
No, Noxie, no.
Our fallen brother.
A lot of this is going to depend on like just how long the story's going to go too, man. Like, I don't want to say that we're in the back quadrant of solo leveling. Like, what if we're in the center of it? We don't necessarily have to go to like several levels above this rank. If S-class is so huge, then nation level could be just as big. We go to Bleach, look at the Bleach storyline. After that storyline was dealing with the same 13 captains. Same, few enemies and shit. Yeah. Similar. They got stronger, several times stronger. But like, for example, Yamamoto seemed to be like the strongest captain at the very end, where like Ichigo and Yu Boxer passed him. So like, he held that capability the entire time. That's like one of the things that I was talking about. There are different ways to power scale or like control power scale in your series, and like a lot of times you have the strong niggas there from the beginning, so you can see what you're gonna get to, and hopefully surpass one day. And I think nation level is that. Now we've now been presented with like the pinnacle, and the pinnacle has a lot of room, a lot of diversity, true diversity in room. Not like this S-class shit.
That's what we're hoping for.
He lost his internet.
What I want to touch on is like what Nox and Seraph was talking about as far as like, will S-class hunters join his guild? Like I said, I don't think he would really want any because what's the point of having S-class?
He lost his internet.
Oh, okay.
He lost it.
Yeah,
he'll be back.
He'll be back in like a couple seconds here.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I was saying like, so what would be the point of bringing in S-rank hunters when we already know that he can level up his soldiers, his shadow soldiers?
Yeah. They're already
that's his S-rank hunters right there. If all they gotta do is level them up.
Mm-hmm.
This is true. There really is no need for it.
Then he can literally have an army of just broken people to fight beyond national level.
It kind of does, right?
And I was about to say, as if his shadow soldiers aren't broken.
Yeah, they're already broken.
Yeah, no, his shadow soldiers
out here washing people
with A-class.
Well, I mean, we don't got to be.
I lost him.
Oh, yep, his audio cut out there.
Oof.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, we're good.
I was saying, like, we all know what's about to happen. It's from the trip, fall on their blade and die. Take their shadow.
Bro, no. Yo, real quick, what is the theory of him? Like, you know how his potions didn't work on Chaha?
Right.
Chaha N. Is he just gonna revive Minbyu Gun? And then heal her? Like, you know that healer that was there that got fucking destroyed.
No, he's dead.
Oh, no.
But there's a chance of him bringing back a human since he brought back a human already.
Okay, here's the theory.
Amount of time.
Look, the Ant King, if he eats someone's head, he gains their powers. If you don't remember that.
Yeah, but
he ate the healer's head.
He just cut it off. He didn't eat
Welcome
it.
back now.
He ate the healer's head.
Yeah, dude.
You don't remember?
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
He got his consciousness.
Oh, yeah, he tore him up.
Yeah,
he
ate
bunched
his
on
head.
it too. He took his
Therefore,
time.
Hold on, what's going on, man?
Jin
What's
Woo
going on
gets the
now? What I
Ant
missed?
shadow.
What we talking about?
No, we was discussing that I had said that I don't think it really matters if Jin Woo brings in S-rank hunters when he could just level up his own soldiers.
Yeah. But then like it's just like I just want more characters to matter than just him and his soldiers though.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what happened. be honest with you.
I feel like that would be a miss. I feel like that would be a storytelling miss if the entire series was just reliant on Sung Jin-woo and his soldiers for the rest of the time. Like I feel like that would be a good opportunity to bring relevance back to these characters. This S-class, like, you know, was like such an enigma in the beginning of the story, and we couldn't wait to get there. And then like, what did they do? A couple S-classes fought, and it was like super epic. Like I can't wait to see more of that. And then they just get waxed, and now it's just the Sung Jin-woo show again. And it's like, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like Sung Jin-woo is a good enough character, and he's written well enough to where I could read the rest of the story with just Sung Jin-woo in that kind of situation. But it's like, I feel like this is a really good opportunity to have a bunch of really tight characters that are relevant. You know what I mean? If it's a Saitama situation, you know what I mean? And the S-class, you know, hunters are relevant in regard to, we're focusing on them and their struggles with, you know, weaker enemies that Sung Jin-woo, you know, doesn't need to show up in just one shot. You know what I mean? Kind of the way that One Punch Man handles it. Like, I don't care that nobody's on Saitama's level in One Punch Man, because the other, you know, supporting cast is so well fleshed out, and they get screen time and they go do things and have like really big fights, you know, with characters that, you know, with enemies that, you know, are compelling, and there's tension there, you know what I mean? Until Saitama shows up and kills the end boss. But I mean, like, you know, are these new threats that show up that Sung Jin-woo is eventually going to have to deal with going to have subordinates? Yeah. are the new threats that show up that Sung Jin-woo is inevitably going to have to deal with, because he's the only one who's able to, are they going to have subordinates that the supporting cast in, you know, in Solo Leveling can have really good moments with, is what I'm hoping for. So
yes, just gonna have to wait and see on that one.
Bro, when that nigga ate that nigga's head, bro. No.
It was
by the way,
nuts.
Jinwoo's
That
getting
shit was
the
dirty.
Ant Shadow, and the Shadow is now a new healer, by the way.
say what?
Jinwoo is getting the Ant Shadow, and the Shadow's a new healer.
We can't get the. We
You know what would be great?
cannot.
I would love it if the Ant Shadow
Bro,
could talk.
we can't get the ant.
Yes, you
Like-
can get that.
No,
I mean, he already
Meruem
invited a bunch of
Shadow?
ants, dog. It's
Meruem
over.
Shadow?
Yes,
So wait,
getting
did you?
the
So what was the? Hold on, did you guys hear like the rest of my thought that I had before I kind of glitched out again?
No.
No.
We got halfway through, and then you did talk.
About to say.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Okay, real quick, let me just say this while I have internet, because my internet's on some fuck shit right now. I just want to say I think it would be really cool for the story if it was handled kind of like One Punch Man, where it doesn't matter that Saitama is the only one that can do anything, you know, like when it really matters, because the supporting cast is so well fleshed out and there's so much time, you know, and screen time and writing, you know, dedicated to those side characters. So I feel like since we kind of got shafted on the S-class hunters in this story because they were just like glorified so much and then ended up not really doing anything and then dying, you know, and then I feel like it would be a really good opportunity in the storytelling of Solo Leveling for whatever new threats that show up. Obviously, the main bad guy is going to be someone that only Sung Jin-woo can deal with. But if he has subordinates that the supporting cast of Solo Leveling can deal with in exciting ways and have like adequate screen time, you know, dedicated to that would balance the story out. Even if Sung Jin-woo is still going to be the strongest character throughout, and it's kind of like a One Punch Man situation. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, nah, never mind.
Yeah, see?
I'm looking at you. I was like,
Yeah, see?
Yeah, he said,
He
well.
can't say anything. Hold on. He can't say anything.
No, what I was gonna say for real though, what I was gonna say was I do feel you on the supporting cast, and I do hope they do get more screen time. But if it's as we all think that a bigger threat will come, and he does get,
I don't need you saying anything.
Stepping on eggshells, he's like, I'm trying to say that.
That's
He's crying. He said, yo, come on, dog. You did your best.
No, for real. But I'm saying, like JC said, if he gets the Ant King and revives him, and the Ant King is already strong in the S ranks, what would be the point for the S rank hunters?
Yeah,
If a bigger threat does
they're
come,
getting written out, man. I can't.
Then that's
won't be able
when.
to do it.
Oh,
I don't know. I feel like Chahai is gonna have
It
have
still
a
should be
certain
there,
role.
but
A certain
But
specific
Man,
role.
at least grab Cha. At least grab.
You know,
At least grab.
Baku,
at least grab Shorty, at least grab Beast Transformation Buddy, and at least grab Sumo. At least, no, that's the guy. No, come on, grab them. Let y'all in the party.
That nigga's doo-doo.
Let y'all in the party. Let Lion-O in the party. You know what I'm saying? And let me get the sumo wrestler too, and then they can be in the party.
Maduke. We need Maduke in there.
They can be in the party. They can level up with Sung Jin-woo, and like let's just get a couple of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we get a little?
One thing I'll definitely say is I think Baek Young-ho, which is basically AKA Drigger, AKA you know what I'm saying, what you said, he literally looks like Drigger from Beyblade. Like that's
That's
wild.
That's my little piece right here, dog. I'm ready with it.
I'm not gonna lie, you know, in the young days I had a Drasil, you know what I'm saying? I was a Drasil man.
Wow.
It is what it is.
I was a Dronzer main dog, all right?
I ain't he said a Dronzer main. I'm hollering. But no, I would say for sure Baek Young-ho, we've focused on him the most out of all the S ranks, I would say, him and Cha. Yeah. So I'd like to think those two would be the ones if they were to join up with Sung Jin-woo or at least join his party. I think those two would be the ones, and maybe Choi Jong-in, just because Cha and Choi Jong-in are kind of like,
and they need a mage too. They need a high DPS like mage that's like outside of Sung Jin-woo. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So those are the three.
Yeah, Tusk.
Outside of Tusk, yes.
That's what I said, bro.
We got Tusk. We don't need anybody else.
With the Orb of Avarice, especially, man.
Yeah.
You cannot
give Choi the Orb of Avarice. Let's have these other characters do
with the Orb of Avarice. No, that's dangerous.
Pass it around his throat.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
yo, my man. You trying to make him morph into Fire Lord Ozai, bro? Like, yo, hold on.
Yes.
Bro, Kargalen by himself would body half of these S class without any help by himself. We don't need. If we got the Ant King too, my nigga, like this is, bro. It's not that like. I would start to feel how my nigga right here is feeling.
I'm calling it right now. He's getting the Ant King.
My nigga,
he's getting the Ant King. I'm calling it right
now. So the Ant King's not going to have a body to. The Ant King's not going to have a body to revive. He's not going to have a body to revive. He's going to get evaporated by the end of the fight, so that he can't get destroyed. Bro, no,
you were right. It's telling you.
No, he's just gonna turn into ashes with a pillar of flames, dog.
Ant King's getting the Dragon Ball Z villain treatment, and
he wants that King.
Turn to dust.
He wants it. You can't let that get away.
Yeah. Turning him straight to squares, like so.
Yeah, he's turning him into sections, bro.
He's got to get the Ant King.
What's his dragon's name? I forgot it.
Kaiso.
Yeah, he's getting him.
Kaiso. What on? However you want to pronounce.
Kaiso was wrong.
Kaiso was dead.
Bro, I'm mad that like
Kaiso and Iron brought him over there. Hey, get this right here. Iron said, "Get."
Yeah, Iron went and grabbed him.
Exactly. As long as there's a piece of the Ant King there, he's gonna get him.
Dragged him away.
As long as
Ant King's getting evaporated.
I'm telling you right now. Go ahead.
Dog, he's gonna get hit with a flame pillar and it's over.
Y'all can't tell me that you didn't get Game of Thrones vibes. At the end
I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
yes,
the White Walker. I said,
yes.
What could have been? What could have been?
Winter's coming, boys.
Oh man, but here's one thing that I definitely wanted to touch upon. Are you guys disappointed? Because JD, I know you've read the light novel, but are you guys disappointed with how the S ranks have been treated as a result of Meruem's just like outrage? Are you guys disappointed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time, dog. They could have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should have made him do better, though.
That was a really good. I mean, like I was saying earlier, that was a good moment to like introduce stakes, you know, to the series that like I felt like it was lacking at that moment. You know what I mean? I felt like there wasn't really any kind of like tension. There wasn't really a reason to worry about anything because, you know, it was mainly focusing on Sung Jin-woo, who we knew was always going to. I mean, if he was going to struggle, it wasn't going to be that, you know, crazy, and then he was eventually going to come out on top. That's great. That's why we're here. You know what I mean? Like that's a part of the story that is great. But it just made it a little bit more compelling that the S classes, you know, got dealt with the way that they did. But it was sad because they didn't have as much exposure prior to that. You know what I mean? So like when you build up the S class, you know, hunters the way that the story had up until that point, you probably could have gave us a couple full power S-class hunter fights leading up to that before they just all get decimated by this threat. You know what I mean? I just feel
I would really like to see more of like Goto Ryoji in action, to be honest. Like,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
him just getting decimated right there was just kind of a big disappointment.
Let him die.
I mean, he was a cocky asshole, yes.
So Grimm, we've talked about me and Grimm. We recorded a long discussion on Solo. We really delved into Goto Ryuji and this topic, and I painted a picture of how I felt about Goto from the beginning to when he absolutely got bodied. Like, so for me, Goto comes in with this aura and energy where he's just like, yo, I'm that dude. Everyone's gassing him up. Yo, this is the strongest guy in Japan. Korea is weaker. So Goto Ryuji is like, yo, he's that dude. Yeah. And they have their own little scrimmage, and all the S ranks are fighting back and forth. Goto's chilling there with his arms crossed. He got his own little translator.
They built him up amazingly.
You're building him up like, yo, this man is serious. I'm thinking, oh, him and Sun Jin Woo about to clash. I'm about to get some epicness. I'm here. Yeah. And then when he clashes with Sun Jin Woo, and Sun Jin Woo is dodging, bobbing, and weaving, he's getting angrier, he's getting butthurt. You see the malice, and I was like, I don't like what I'm seeing. He's not looking too cool right now.
I loved it.
And he was looking hot a minute ago.
He was looking real hot, right?
He was looking real hot a minute ago.
And then when I tell you, he showed that malice, and they stopped them both at that time. And when he froze, and to this day, it's the funniest face I've ever seen in manga history. The shock on this man's face when he realized, yo, I would have died.
The sweat on his face. He was sweating. Sweating blood. My man was shook.
Bullets coming.
I was like, okay. At first, I thought, okay, Sun Jin Woo is just off the charts. Okay, I get it. Then we get to Jeju Island. Everything's built up. He's cleaning up the ants, all that other stuff. We got the build up. Okay, we found out his secret plan. Okay, forget Korea. If they all die, whatever. We're trying to make Goto Ryuji, the national level hunter. I'm like, okay. And then we see Meruem. He takes care of all the S ranks. He comes out. I'm like, oh, he's coming for Goto. Finally, we're about to get some Goto feats. I said this specifically when I live reacted to this. I said, if Goto blocks one of his attacks, that's a W. Right? I thought that was a W. If he just gets one block in, it's a W. Not only did Meruem forget his blade and took his homie's head at the same time, he also had the nerve to say, yo, I'm the king. You come for me. So I'm like, okay, you talking trash now. Please let me see something because they've been building you up for so long. And here you are calling yourself the king. I'm telling you, I didn't even see the head off. I just saw it gone. I just saw the head gone, and I said, wait a minute. That's it?
Wait a minute.
Is it all you built up?
That's what I said too. That's it?
Yeah, no, literally, he's like, that's it? You built him up to get bodied? That's it?
Low key, though?
Yeah, you got body off screen, dog.
Off screen? Yo, off screen? I said, wow. So I was like, I was devastated at first, and then I started laughing.
So his internet went.
I started hollering, and then I just thought to myself, I said, okay, let me settle down, because what we did get is that we know the S ranks. They already said that once you hit the S rank, that you can't actually measure how strong people are. So there is definitely a clear disparity where someone who could be in S rank, say like Bai Kyung Ho, and then you have someone in S rank who's Sun Jin Woo, the gap could be massive, but people don't know because it cannot be measured. So the fact that S ranks are getting bodied, it's still within the context of what they explained with S rank. So it's not as wild as I thought it would be, but like you guys said before, it would be nice to see them actually do something worthy of an S rank first, and then they get bodied, so we really get the gravity of the Ant King and still have some sort of semblance of respect for these guys.
I kind of think it's like you got the Dragon Ball Z thing going on. You can't really measure their power anymore within numbers, but they can still feel when somebody's way stronger than them, or if someone's stronger than them, like Jinwoo, if he ever uses all his aura, or Goto Ryuji, or the Ant King for once, they felt the Ant King's power and they all froze. They could feel the power, so they know when something's strong with them.
That he can
they knew that already. But at the same time, when I was looking at the story, I stepped back, look at the story. I said, they're on the island. They're having an easy time. They're not struggling with anybody. The S ranks are doing their thing. They're killing ants all over the place. And I was like, this is going way too easy. Every chapter, I was like, this is going too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy. Then when Ant King come, I was like, everybody's about to die. it's just the way the story was going. Everybody's gonna die because it's going way too easy for everybody on the island. So when he started one-shotting people, I was like, okay, this is gonna happen until Jin-Woo gets here. So now, forget everybody else in the story. I'm calling for Jin-Woo to get here because that's when the real fight is gonna be. Because I knew everybody else is getting one shot.
Yeah,
This is from
And,
the
like,
story progression part.
from when I seen them niggas train, like I was, like I said before, impressed with like the majority of them weren't that impressive. There's like 3 or 4 guys. Their powers, you can see the potential if they whatever.
Welcome back, Knox.
Thanks. I'm mad because you were getting in your bag, bro, and I was like, bro,
You missed it.
oh my god,
It's okay. We'll watch it later. We'll watch it later.
My internet's never been as bad.
No, I was genuinely hurt, but I think Grimm, you were saying something, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying like the S class, like they didn't really seem that appealing. Some of them, so like I wasn't really surprised when like really that impacted when they got killed. I was like, thank God I don't gotta see this nigga develop and shit.
Yeah, but you think about it though. It was a sparring session. It wasn't like we're trying to kill each other. So I mean, were
They weren't even going all out to begin with.
They weren't going all out on each other until.
But it's still like the dynamic of the power. If I seen a nigga that got a like, oh, bet I'm cool with seeing him progress. He's going to do some sword shit. But if I see a nigga that's like got like butterflies and like, or a nigga that spits out like fucking like acid, water or acid, yeah, like she's like, I'm like, I don't care. Like I just don't care. It's not. I just want to see the dude with the sword go through some stuff. Come on, this is all I want to see. Yeah. So I was basically that. Like some of the S class were. So like I was okay with some of their deaths or being used as like. To show disparity situation. I was
intrigued with a lot of the S class though, because I mean, like
not
even
Goto.
I mean, like Goto especially. Like I was intrigued with, but because I like diversity in like in the abilities that are being used. I mean, like I'm a sword swordsman motherfucker, till the world blow, and a martial arts guy to the world blow. But I liked. I mean, like we didn't see a mage use anything other than fire until Jeju Island. You know what I mean? So it's like I was hyped to see like diversity, in abilities. Okay. Like once the S classes started getting like fleshed out a little bit more. But I just wish that they had a little bit more time before they got wiped out because
we got a little bit of Karkalin.
Yeah.
A tad bit, yeah. We did.
How do y'all feel about Sung Jin Woo's dad clapping dude that came to assassinate him when he was in the Red Gate? I wanted Sung Jin Woo to. I was proud too. I was happy about it because I hated that motherfucker, but I kind of wanted Sung Jin Woo to put that motherfucker.
Put hands on that dude. He was being a cocky bastard, dog. He was
a little bit too much.
Oh, I'm an S rank.
Yeah.
I think I loved it just because, like, if you think about it, right, his brother was scum. Right, we know his little brother was scum.
Yeah.
Sung Jin Woo handled him and everybody else, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. He's butthurt. His brother got handled. He doesn't even know the story. He's just an evil nigga. So then he starts fighting Baek Young Hoo, and it's just like, oh, they're clashing. It's a big war and everything. Then his pops comes up, and like I said, the amount of trash this man was talking.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking to myself, please check this man. Please do it.
And he has him under his foot, dog.
Yes. What made it sweeter? And it's just like we didn't even see it. Like for me, if you get off screen and anything other than One Piece, it's the ultimate disgrace.
Yeah.
Got off screen. I said, wow.
Wait a minute. So Sung Jin Woo's dad has the system too, then?
Yes,
theoretically,
I generally think he does. Yeah, I really think so.
You said I don't know, and I saw you. That's all right.
Wait a minute.
I looked at him. I was like, I don't think he
got niggas get this shit from, bro.
Hey, you just gotta turn off the camera, man. We can see all your facial expressions.
That would be super tight. That would be super tight.
I don't think he has.
Like father, like son, right?
That would be so cold-blooded.
The dude in the
really would be.
I didn't even look at JD's expression, so if he had probably already put the kibosh on that with his expression.
He said I don't know.
That smirk on there, dog.
He said I don't know.
I think that would be incredible, dog.
But I was gonna ask, since we were talking about his dad, I think Cameron, the dude in the chat, he was talking about, is it something with Sung Jin Woo's family? I think he was talking about like given that his dad came out of the gate and stuff and May knows about the system and Sung Jin Woo gets the system. Do you think that's just something dealing with his family?
And also, don't forget his mom also with the eternal slum illness as well. That I'm pretty sure that has something with the system as well. So
his mom got the system
internal
too.
Slum illness.
I think it has something to do with his dad more than anything else. I think his dad.
Yeah,
it works. They
You
explained
can't
it
have magic radiating. They can be hitting, so she eventually got sick.
because that one character's dad is getting it too. Yeah, you remember? So like, it's just not.
Oh, he getting
for his
fucked too?
family.
Oh my god!
Everybody's getting fucked, dog. Everybody's okay.
That the CEO dude, he's getting destroyed. Homie. It's over. He's sleeping eternally, dog.
But yeah, I think his dad, wherever he was at, did something, made some sort of barter to get out. I don't know what he did, but whatever happened, he got Jin-Woo into the system, gave him that chance, and I guess we'll figure it out eventually.
Sung Jin-Woo's dad is the system.
You think he sold? Are you saying that like he sold his,
dog?
to get free?
Huh?
Is that what you're saying, that he sold his sons to get free?
I'm saying whatever the end game is, he used that. Maybe to get free, but maybe he's saying, hey, my son can handle this, or give this to my son. I don't know, but I think that has something to do with it. I can't figure it out in my head right now, but
Sung Jin-Woo's dad is just Jing from
That'd be
Hunter.
a fucking twist, man.
it might be. That's why I gotta-
Might as
I
well
don't know.
be.
Man, I don't know. That's disrespectful right there.
Oh yeah, it is, because you got to realize he thought about his son the moment he came out, though, didn't he? Didn't he think about Sun Jin-woo, or maybe I'm tripping?
He did. He was like, I want to go see my family.
I gotta see my where my baby at.
Where my baby? Where my wife at, dog? I want to see my kids.
And the mom is so innocent, bro.
She's so adorable, dog.
She's so innocent.
Don't rope her into this, dog. She don't deserve any of that.
So another question or a topic that I want to bring up to you guys. So I don't remember his name off the top of his head, but the guy who is the son of the other guy who was about to make that big guild, and he wanted his son to prove himself, so he clung on.
That's the guy I was talking about.
Yeah. What do you guys think his role is going to be in the rest of the story?
That's the water boy, dog. That's the mascot.
That's the secretary, dog. He's gonna handle all the big business that their guild that gets into. He's gonna be the one who figures everything out.
Yeah, he's the accountant. He's the money guy.
But there's got to be 3 people in the guild. Guild, so yeah, he's gonna be.
He's gonna be the vice assistant. You know, what I mean, he's just gonna be the guy who takes care of everything for Sung Jin-Woo, so he can get all the dungeons. He can talk to all the guilds and stuff like that want to try and recruit him.
He's the organizer.
And they said the vice
diplomat.
The vice assistant.
Not even the assistant, like the assistant.
The assistant.
Don't worry about it.
His name is Yoo Jin-ho, by the way. So he's
Yoo Jin-ho. That's right.
Okay,
right.
you.
The Korean names are still. I've read so many webtoons and so many manga, but the Korean names are still so.
They're so hard to just remember.
They're still just so much. Yeah, I can do Japanese names all day, but the Korean joints.
We're used to it.
The Korean smut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
The what?
Nothing.
Run it back. Hold up.
Bring it back.
But I think it's a good point to mention that you did say that Sung Jin-Woo can have people party with him. So what if he levels up Jin-Ho?
That's what I want.
Oh man,
what if
you know how nice that would be, dude?
That's the motherfucker. He's gonna level up before anybody else because that's his rider.
That's his day one, homie. You know what I mean?
That's
his day one.
And I think also what is a good point is that you see him actually growing, like his character is developing while he stays alongside Sung Jin-Woo. So it's just like the more stronger he gets, the more confident that he will get. And I feel like he might be one of the main guys to ground someone like Sung Jin-Woo, who's basically losing touch with humanity.
Yeah, and he'll be his tether.
Exactly. And I think he'll play a big role in that. I don't know if you guys read Toriko, but it's kind of just like, you have a little Toriko, situation like that. So if he does get strong enough where all this expensive armor that he buys actually comes to use and he's actually useful to Sung Jin-Woo as well, I think he could actually play a big role.
In the beginning of that, it's just going to be him just like chilling there in the side while he goes into dungeons and kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you play an MMORPG with your homeboy that just started and you're already cold-blooded and you just like, all right, just hold on, wait.
Hold up.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like
that scene in Adventure Time where Finn is just running through the train.
Kind of like in like some Champions of Norath, or not Champions of Norath, but some fucking What's the click to move joint? I can't remember, but
League of Legends?
Wow.
no, man.
World of Warcraft?
World of Warcraft. Yeah, you
Nah,
click to move in
bro.
that.
Diablo.
Oh,
Diablo.
okay.
Oh yeah, I played
Yeah.
Diablo.
I mean, that could have been many things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's anything.
Just click to move, dog. Come on.
It's any of those. It's
I
any
heard
of
click
those.
to move, and I was like, Lee?
Yeah. It's any
Yeah,
of those
me-
MMORPGs though, where it's just
me
like
and Reggie
roll
got
with
the same
me.
idea.
You don't have to fight none of these things. I'm gonna fight him, and then you're just gonna get the the shared experience until he's at a point where he's gonna be like, I think I can handle this one now. Sinseng Nim, or whatever buddies, whatever.
Young Nim, dog.
Hyung Nim, whatever the honorific is for that, but I think that would be cool for Yoo Jin-ho.
Yep,
you.
I think it would be super cool for him to be in the party and for him to level up. That would be super tight.
I also do think David Big Lad as well also added that don't forget his sister's friend. So remember Earl that joined him on that first trip as well.
The E ranker.
His sister's homegirl.
Yes. Yeah, the sister's friend. Yeah, the sister's friend. Yeah.
So yeah.
Man, might as well just go ahead and wake the sister up too. Let's get the whole damnly in this motherfucker, bro.
Yeah,
keep mom out of this, dog. She's already been through hell.
Yeah, nah, for real. First of all, when we saw Mom, bro, Sun Jin Woo, y'all can't tell me that wasn't one of the most heartwarming moments you've ever seen.
When she woke up?
Yeah,
when she woke up, dude, that was...
I almost cried low key. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yo, for real. She was like, I'm so proud of you, my son. I'm like, you know what? I ain't gonna cry on the stream, bro. I ain't gonna do it.
You were doing a live reaction.
I was doing a live reaction. Wait, no, I wasn't actually. That was just before. I started
reaction
live
for that, chap.
Yeah, if I did live reaction, I might have cried on it.
Yeah, I was doing live reaction. I was like, all right, we're good. We're good.
Lisa, I'm good.
Got to cough a couple times and then be like,
yeah,
all right, we good. We good.
I think we lost him again, though.
Yeah, we lost Bishop.
Yeah, he froze.
He just texted me. like I said, I know him in real life, so like this whole time, every time he glitches out, I'm just messaging him.
Yeah, but it is 11 p.m. right now. We've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes. I was aiming for like an hour and 30. Yeah, that's what I was going for. So is there any other topics that you guys would like to bring up based on what we've seen from Solo Leveling? Or what we could discuss is, are you surprised at how popular and mainstream this series is becoming?
Yes, because I started it when it was like 12 chapters in, not many people reading it, and so just like now everybody talking about it, everybody just going crazy. But I'm like, man, how this has come so far.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask was, given the recent deal with Crunchyroll and Webtoon, even though Solo Leveling isn't a part of the Webtoon's catalog, do y'all think, given how popular it's becoming, that it would eventually get an anime?
Yes, definitely.
I really hope so.
I mean,
I would love it.
I mean, I really hope so too, but just the odds of it.
It's kind of slim considering God of High School or Tower Battle hasn't got an anime yet.
My especially with like take into account like the whole
to get an anime.
Oh, okay. Because I know they had that little animated short thing that they did for the trailer. They also did one for Solo Leveling too.
Yeah.
You about to say something, Grimm?
Yeah, I was about to say in the recent news, I don't know if y'all know, Disney Plus and like Amazon Prime and a lot of these other different services are bringing up their streaming services and having a huge competition for it. And in recent news, Netflix announced that they're going to be uploading the Ghibli movies, all Ghibli movies, to their arsenal.
Just in America.
Yeah. So
that's only overseas though.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's just not
overseas.
Yeah, because HBO Max is gonna have all the national.
Well, regardless, they've been talking about using anime to propel the things that they've lost, not only just anime but other things as well. So like, we're at least in this new decade. Cause y'all, I don't know if y'all noticed, but like, most of us were born in like 94, 95, 96, 97, whatever it is. Like, in just 10 years, niggas went from like big ass bricks to fucking razors to now fucking everybody has a touchscreen and shit. So like, it wouldn't be too crazy to see in like 5 or 6 years, like these streaming services become like a whole different thing, different industries growing tremendously. Like, it was back in '99 when One Piece first started, and it was like a few good anime. You can find them on one or two different channels. Now anime's everywhere, man. Now you can go to school and talk about anime. It's not shit. You're not the weird kid and shit, man. Like shit's growing. I think in the next 5 to 6 years, we could definitely see like a larger like genre or variety of like anime and manga start to be serialized and shit, or serialized in the West.
That'd be very nice.
I can see that coming. I think it would be a major power investment if there was to be, say, a streaming platform like the ones that you mentioned, Grimm. If they were to pick up Solo Leveling and they could get ahead of the curve and take advantage of it blowing up, because one thing I've noticed is Solo Leveling is kind of like, and I've heard a lot of people say this, it's kind of like the Dragon Ball Z of manhwa, where you kind of just have consistent hype, consistent good art, consistent aesthetics. So even for those who don't want to look deep into the manhwa, the fact that you can actually just enjoy it at face value as well as look deep into it, it appeals to all kinds of masses. And obviously you're going to get the people who, they've been reading manhwa and manga for a long time, and it may just be too straightforward for them. But when it comes to just anime watchers and viewers, things like this is perfect. Like if you look at how Demon Slayer was and how it blew up in Crunchyroll, and how like now Kimetsu no Yaiba is like the best-selling manga right now. The anime was very, very straightforward. Beautiful aesthetics, simple plot, simple main character to understand, and just consistent growth. So I think Solo Leveling has the same potential. If somebody actually were to actually invest in it, it could blow up. I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually.
Listen to trash.
Because hey, wait a minute.
I'm feeling it recently.
But that
I mean, I'm here for it, but still.
That makes a lot of sense though, like your comparison of Solo Leveling to Dragon Ball, because like Dragon Ball is like the anime that like motherfuckers who don't like anime watch. You know what I mean? Right. And like Solo Leveling, like if someone reads God of High School, they're probably reading Tower of God or some other webtoons too. If someone reads, any other webtoon, they probably have a couple more under their belt. But Solo Leveling is the one where people who don't read webtoons are reading that one. You know what I mean? So that at least from what I've seen, so too. And I mean, Naver or like Webtoon or like whatever the company is over in Korea is starting to adapt their webtoons now, right?
Yeah,
they're starting to. Is that what you guys were talking about? They're starting to make. Yeah, and I think they're starting with Tower of God and Noblesse, right? Yeah. So I mean, like, I don't know.
Y'all want that news article? Make sure to visit TiC GamesNetwork.com. It's up there. Appreciate it.
I don't know why they wouldn't start with. I mean, Tower of God kind of is like the flagship, webtoon. I mean, like Solo Leveling's getting the most hype right now, but like Tower of God has been like the biggest one for the longest, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it makes sense that they would start there, and Noblesse too is an OG too.
Yeah, Webtoon's big three is Tower of God, Noblesse, and God of High School.
Yeah, and we know that Korea can animate because we got that. We know that they know that they're what they're doing, because whatever that video game for God of High School came out for, they made that animated snippet for. And that shit's cold-blooded, bro. That shit was fucking beautiful. Yeah, that shit was beautiful. So like, I don't know why Korea wouldn't start with like their like, like regular like manhwa serializations, like The Breaker and shit like that. But I mean, like webtoons have all the hype right now, so I mean, and they're colorful already, so like whatever. But I need to see The Breaker animated too.
I need to see
facts, dude.
Yeah,
that is actually a very good shout. The Breaker is like one of those. It's like the hipsters manhwa. You know what I mean? Like I read The Breaker like in I think my first year of college or like high school, bro. Like,
yeah, dude.
Everybody's been waiting for part 3. It still hasn't come yet.
Well, I mean, like because John Jin and Kamaro like took a break after season 2 to like do Trinity Wonder, right? And then Trinity Wonder was that webtoon that like told another story about like the ancient Miram or whatever. And then that ended, and they were supposed to come back for season 3, but then now they started another webtoon. And I don't feel like they would just abandon their Breaker like that. So I feel like that might be an editorial mandate on behalf of Naver or whatever webtoon company is pushing them towards webtoons because of all the hype around them right now. So I feel like the reason why we're not getting like regular serialized in a magazine manhwa as much anymore is because of how big webtoons have gotten. And that's I just don't want to believe that John Jin and Kamaro just don't want to come back to The Breaker. That's way too disrespectful, and obviously they were super passionate about that story anyway. So like, why wouldn't they come back unless they're being forced to do webtoons? You know what I mean? It's kind of like my thought on it. So
yeah,
but
no, I can see that.
Yeah,
one could hope.
those editorial mandates are a motherfucker, bro.
They already I wish they would do that with Togashi. Guess now.
So no, because Togashi's already got his clout. He said, "You already fucking drove me crazy with Yu Yu Hakusho. I ain't doing what you saying no more. I got my money and my Dragon Quest. Leave me alone." He got his feet up counting his yen while the Dragon Quest DLC downloads, knowing we hungry. He don't care. He's had enough of those motherfuckers.
Of Hunter x Hunter, bro. Some like stick figures, dog. Oh my god.
Well, they have new remastered art for the entire series on like readhxh.com. If you go to readhxh.com, the entire series from the beginning until I think the newest volume is like manga stream scans. But from the beginning of the reread is beautiful on it. All of the art is remastered. Those booty hole chapters when the Phantom Troop went to go fight the Chimera Ants and it was literally stick figures, dog. All that shit is remastered, fam. It looks incredible, dog. And they're starting to color it now. They got like 30 chapters colored of it now, and it looks incredible.
Bro, the biggest content creator that I know, Suzuki, showed me these panels. But yeah, my boy Suzuki showed me these panels. Like 90% of the page was words. This nigga's writing essays.
Well, I mean, and that depends on which scans you get, right? Because if you get the official translations for Viz, they cut like 80 words, out of that paragraph.
God damn.
I mean, it's still really text heavy, but it's not as bad as like the manga stream scans were for it. The manga stream scans really mojo jojoed that shit. They really mojo jojoed that shit, fam. Like there were way too many words to say the same damn thing. Yeah,
literally a Bible every chat. I'm like,
and I'm here for it. You mother, like I read books. You know what I'm saying? So like it's nothing to me. Yeah, like I don't, but it's just like it's superfluous that they just add so many more words than they need to, and then you read the Viz translation, it's like this is the same exact message with 80 less words. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck were they doing over there at manga stream? But
yeah, but we have reached the 1 hour 30 minute. So
yeah,
I think now we got to wrap it up, guys. Yeah, man.
Mahalo, brother.
Pretty quick. But guys, thank you for coming through. For guys setting this up, this was actually really fun. It was really fun. So we definitely got to do this again for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get the whole same cast back again. Trent, I don't think I heard you say a word, bro. Are you still here?
Yeah, what's good, bro? You all right?
Trent?
No, yeah,
I think he might have just passed out for real. He's chilling in.
He's big cooling right there with the.
He probably chiefing or something, but yeah, no, guys, thanks for coming through. Is there any other plugs that you guys would like to plug while we got viewers right?
I just want to say, like on our show, like because I didn't at the front of the episode, but yeah, we cover One Piece, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, The Promised Neverland, Chainsaw Man, Samurai 8, and Jujutsu Kaisen week to week. We cover it all on one show. We have it in segments, and then if you're not current in all 7 books, you can have there's timestamps in the description so that you can skip to whatever it is. We review all of them weekly, and then we talk about random anime shit, on the weekends. So like it's a twice weekly, shonen centric manga and anime podcast, Project Manga.
All right, don't forget to plug that. Send me the link or plug it in the chat.
I got you.
Got that down.
Got you.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
No, you got it.
I was gonna say, if you guys want to keep current with latest chapters of like Unordinary, Solo Leveling, My Wife is a Demon Queen, and a couple of titles like that.
I think you got Inso's Law too.
Yeah, we got Inso's Law as well.
And Peerless Dad, buddy.
Peerless Dad too.
Don't forget about the dad.
I'm sorry, Uncle.
It's all good, nephew. We out here. Project family.
Yeah, we do a bi-weekly podcast on that, and we just cover those. So you guys want to check it out, we have Project Webtoons.
All right.
Check out my boy Jay's channel and the reactions. The nigga be doing 2-piece reactions. All kinds of shit, bro. The nigga got a content. The nigga he got the badass, bro. The nigga got the badass intro song, man. Like it's so right that the first 6 seconds that shit heavy as hell. So your niggas trying to get that good ass, slight ass intro bit, and then you hop into some good ass content, bro. Fucking the solo. You do solo reviews too.
I'm about to start doing solo reviews as well.
Damn, you super duper slacking. All right, well,
If
y'all
y'all
niggas-
channel, bro, that's wild.
but yeah, check out the channel and shit. Like, yeah, big fat.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
I guess I'll go next. Yeah, just check out our channel, TiC GamesNetwork. Cover all gaming. We're really about to start ramping up again on the channel, since the new system coming out, stuff like that. So make sure y'all subscribe, hit the notification bell for when we start that. Also check out our site, TiCGamesNetwork.com, where we have cover all gaming, anime, movies, all of that. And if you want to keep up with me, follow me on Twitter at TheOtakuFix, or you can follow one of our gaming channels. Gaming links for the site is TiC Games Network or TiC Podcast on Twitter also. So yeah, that's about it for me.
Our YouTube is JC2K2002. Right now, my favorite series that I'm covering is Solo Leveling. I love Ruby because I'm just a nerd and love Ruby. And Haikyuu because I like sports anime.
IQ is tight, dog.
And a few other ones that you can go to the channel and figure it out. But that's where I will be.
If Ace of Diamond is not in your top 2, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm watching it. I'm just not covering it on the channel.
I'm about to say it.
I'm watching it.
Ace of Diamond is tight.
It is a privilege. Trust me.
It's great.
It is a
I love
privilege.
Ace of Diamonds.
Wait, are you at just little sidetrack? Have you seen Shado Verse?
Yeah, I've read all the manga and I haven't caught up to the anime yet. So yeah,
Okay, I was about to say greatest sports masters of all time.
Okay.
But yeah, shout out to Cameron Etheridge Lothar for donating as well. I really appreciate that, guys. It was really dope, you guys. I really appreciate that. Shout out to you guys, and shout out to everyone in the chat that participated, talking about solo leveling, asking questions. We really appreciate it. You guys made this stream really fun. I think that's it from us.
Noxy glitched out.
Noxy glitched out again. He got his plug in.